Coming to you live from my mother's basement. And I've got Gordy Jones and Mike Gross with me here. Yes, we've gone very high-tech. Got the microphone out of the closet here.
Nice.
Yes, I feel like a real reporter. Taking you back to get the old teleprompter. Can't speak right. Teleprompter out. Gordy, you were at the Eagles game on Sunday. Watching it on TV, it had this sort of a sense like the end was near. The fans were booing, leaving a little bit early. Give me a sense of the atmosphere.
Well,
at the
I
game.
think that's an accurate assessment. I mean, there were those chants of fire Andy. I mean, they were short-lived but insistent, I would say. And you really got the feeling that they had reached kind of a tipping point as far as their season and Reed's career there. This is the 13th year, and they've kind of backslid quite a bit, I think. I mean, they really had high expectations for this season after some of the guys they brought in, and it's obviously just not working out. And you know, if you think about it, why didn't we see this back when they conceived the team, how ill-conceived it was, how they had such obvious weaknesses at linebacker, at safety, how Vic was a turnover machine. You know, he has more turnovers in the red zone than any other team in the league.
Wow.
And so how did we not see this coming? That's the interesting thing to me.
Mike, can they be fixed? We're talking about some of the problems. Can some of this be fixed this year and this can be turned around?
I don't think this year. I mean, I don't see how. I just think it's really a strange thing, and we've talked about this a couple of times. This was an all-in bet with such a goofy hand. Like you're trying to draw to a flush or something. There's so many big weaknesses and big strengths of this team, and I would still say that their game against Dallas, that was the best I've seen an NFL team play in a long time. I thought that was an incredible performance, and they're 4-7. It's just there's so many things about this that are weird. There's so many things about it that have not worked, and Andy Reid has been there for 13 years now. That's an eternity in pro sports. I don't think it can be fixed, and I think things have to change now.
All in hand, I think Andy Reid's about to go fish.
There you go.
You write for the Examiner. You have put up on your blog as well. You think it's time for Big Red to maybe go somewhere else.
After the game, as we just talked about, it just seemed like they had kind of reached the end of the line. And the name I threw out there on the blog was Russ Grimm, because everybody mentions John Gruden, everybody mentions Bill Cowher. Those are the obvious names that are out there. But to me, Russ Grimm makes a lot of sense. He's the assistant head coach in charge of the running game with the Arizona Cardinals. He was a finalist for the Steelers job that Mike Tomlin got, and he's an old NFC East guy. He played for the Redskins, played the offensive line for them. It seems to me that he'd be the kind of guy that could fill in the kind of gaps that they have. I mean, to win in the NFC East, you need to be able to run the ball. I mean, it's nice that the Eagles have traditionally put up these nice offensive numbers, throwing the ball and so on and so forth. But to me, they've never done the tough things. They've never done the thing where you can when you need a yard, can they get a yard? Like it happened again on Sunday. Third and 1 at the 2, fourth and 1 at the 2. They can't get the 1 yard that they need to get. And this year it's really been accentuated. They haven't been able to stop the run. I mean, very first play of the season, Steven Jackson runs a long way for a touchdown, and it's like right then you're going, wait a minute, what's going on here? Maybe this dream team stuff isn't what we thought it was, and it's just pretty much gone on from there.
I think they're not a tough physical team, and certainly not consistently. Correct. They looked that way against the Giants a couple weeks ago. They looked like a physically, almost confrontationally physical team in that game, but it sort of goes away, and I think that's one thing that even when the Eagles were really good under Reid, that was the big issue.
That was their personality, except for with notable exceptions like Dawkins, Trotter, Runyon, guys like that, and which underscores another weakness. They don't have the leaders they had a few years ago, and they've all kind of gone away. And now, who are the leaders of their team? Probably Vic is the most obvious one, but he's not really the let's go to war kind of guy. He's more leads by making spectacular plays, but he's also made spectacular errors now.
And that's no question. And that's a byproduct. The lack of leadership, I think, is a byproduct of. Sometimes maybe that's overrated, but I think that's a byproduct of this Redskin-like approach, where we're going to put together all these free agents and kind of cobble together. No, it doesn't fly.
Last question: if they don't have the leaders in the locker room, have they tuned out their coach as well? It seems like they're not listening to him anymore.
Well, that's of course you ask them and they all say no. But I mean, the fact that they've lost so many games late, they've lost 5 games in the fourth quarter. It just seems like something's not clicking there. There's some disconnect on some level. And I think, Andy Reid always says blame him for whatever bad thing happens. Well, okay.
Yeah,
let's
you got
do
it,
that.
dude. We can do that. Jack, I don't think they've consciously tuned him out. I don't think that. Because their defense of him in the media is more than just obligatory, I think. But it's dysfunctional. It's in some ways, in effect, they've tuned him out, and it certainly is dysfunctional.
Good.